What's up guys, welcome back to another video. I wanted to do this one for some time now, but I've just been putting it off, and so it's actually kind of helped out that I have put it off, just because this is going to be a video over everything that I've done to my car. So since I have been putting off, I've done more stuff, so I have more things to cover. Firstly, I'd like to give a shout out to my aunt. Look at these hoodies. I got this because we have a car group called Emphatic, and this is the logo that I came up with. I really like it. And then down the sleeve says Emphatic as well. So I just got this in the mail today and I think it's really cool. But I just wanted to shout her out to that before I started this video. The way that I'm gonna do this video is I'm gonna go over everything that's currently on the car. Not stuff that's been on there in the past and that I've swapped out or taken off. But I'm also gonna work my way from the front of the car all the way to the back. That way, I don't know, it's just easier to go through it in my head that way. And so to start it off, the carbon fiber front splitter, that was through APR, and I bought that off Throttle actually. I don't know why, I just like the look of a splitter that has these supporting rods. Like, lips are cool, yeah, but whenever I see something that has supporting rods, I think super race car, or how I'll call my car, rice car. So I think it works like that as well. Second is the front grille there. So I did a honeycomb style mesh grille. I didn't like the stock grille that came with it, just because the way the slats were, it kind of looked like a freaking razor blade, and I thought it was kind of boring. So I wanted to switch it up and go with the mesh grille. That way it looks cleaner, and if I were to in the future do a front mount intercooler, it would actually show through and it look really cool as well. Second thing, sequence devil claws. I got those off Amazon and they were pretty cheap, and all it is just 3M double-sided tape to hold them onto the bumper. I think it looks different. I've thought about taking them off recently just because I have seen some Velosters that look clean without that on the front. I think it makes it look aggressive. Over time I've started to not like it as much. And I'll include the wheels in the front on this one as well. So my most recent wheels are the JNC 005s. I got these just because they do poke a little more than the older wheels that I have, because they have an offset that's closer to 0. It's plus 32, something like that. And my other ones were around a plus 40. And these are also half an inch wider than the other ones, so that gives it some more poke and play. But I kept the 215 tire, that way it actually is stretched on there. It's got a tiny bit of stretch. Not that much, but it is noticeable, and now it's flush with the fender completely, which I like a lot. And it actually makes me want to lower my car even more. But I would need to stretch tires more. The mud flaps, I've had those on for, God, 3 years now or something. Almost 3. Maybe. At the time, my wheels were still tucking, and this is when I had got my first set of wheels, so they were still kind of tucking, and the mud flaps helped to, I guess, accentuate the hips of the car, and it made it stick out a little bit like that on each side. So it actually, from the back, it looked wider, but it also, I guess, kept the car cleaner. I've only ever had mud or dirt on them once, and that was whenever we went to Import Alliance a couple months ago. But other than that, they're just for looks. They don't really do anything. I've got the mirrors. I wrapped those in carbon fiber, and it was actually pretty decent. I have a video on that I did a while back, but now I think that was a little over a year and a half ago or something. It's been some time that they're starting to fade, and there's some spots on them, stuff like that. They don't look as good as whenever they were first on there. And so I've been thinking about getting them hydro dipped in carbon fiber rather than buying actual carbon fiber ones from the website, just because it is a lot cheaper. It's $200 for the set of the mirror covers in carbon fiber, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, well, I'll go to the interior since that's in the middle portion. I got a carbon fiber shift knob from SCGarageworks, which took like 2.5 months to get here, which honestly made me pretty mad. Just because they said it would take 4 to 6 weeks, and it ended up being 2.5 months. But I have that in the car, and I got it with the custom orange stitching just to match the outside of the car, and I thought it was clean because I do want to do some more carbon pieces on the interior. Next thing up on the back of the car is probably one of my favorite pieces. It's the carbon fiber spoiler that I have. It was from SCGarageworks as well. It was a variant style D, I think that's what it was called. But the only problem that I have with it is the fitment, because they're all made to order. They don't keep any stock, and so once you place an order, it's made, blah, blah. I don't know if the casting process went wrong or what, but 5 out of the 7 bolt holes lined up, and then it rubs on the left side. So when I lift up the hatch, there's a spot about this big on there where it's rubbed through all the way to the bare metal, like rubbed through paint, primer, everything. So that's my only complaint about that. Other than that, I love it. It's probably one of my favorite things on here. Next thing up would probably be the, I tinted the rear reflectors just because they're honestly pointless. There's not even lights hooked up to them. They don't really reflect that much, and I hate seeing a giant ass circle this big on the rear bumper. I think it looks horrible. So I decided to tint those myself, and I had also attempted to tint the taillights as well, but the taillights are so weird with that curvature that you can't even get anything to stick to them. And if you do, it wraps over itself or it leaves giant bubbles. It's too difficult. So I guess I'm gonna have to find a shop that'll do that for me. Last thing, one of my favorites as well, is the exhaust. This was my last video, was the exhaust one. Borla Catback exhaust. And that was, I think, the second mod I actually did to my car. And honestly, I like the sound of it. It's not that loud though. It's got a good tone, but it's not loud, which can be good and bad. Good because you're not being annoying. Alright, well, camera decided to shut off on me while I was recording that one. But I was talking about the exhaust, why it's good and why it's bad. Good because you're not being annoying, but bad because, as you can tell, we're not at the parking garage anymore, and that would be because both of my batteries died and my tripod was being a bitch. So I came back to the house just so I could finish off this video. I was talking about the exhaust last. After the exhaust, I think the only things left are the lowering springs. They're Megan Racing lowering springs. They dropped it about inch and a quarter, something like that. And then after that, it would just be the window tint around the car, which is 20%. Which, I mean, you can still see into the car a little bit, but I like it a lot. It makes it darker, you can't notice it as much. But at nighttime, it is a little iffy. It's hard to see out the sides, but I mean, it's easy to deal with. And that is everything that I've done to my car to date, or that's on the car to date. I think next video will actually be one about how much everything costs. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I saw this one done by Evan Shanks, so that's kind of where I got the inspiration to do that, to want to make that video from. Alright, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.